What's happening, people? It's your boy, the Boxing Lowdown, and welcome to the Usyk versus Dubois 2 preview, man. And listen, I'm delighted, honoured to be joined by ETG Boxing. ETG, what's going on, bro? Good to have you here, man.
Bro. Good to be on. Good to be on. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for joining. And before we get into this preview, man, we've been following each other for a while. I've seen your route into boxing and how you've been, great coaching your students. So I just want to kind of give you the floor before we get into the preview and just give the viewers who may not know you just a background of, how you got into boxing and what you do.
Okay, yeah. So I boxed as an amateur for Angel ABC. Used to get beaten up by John Ryder pretty much every day. Then took a break, came back to coaching, and I was coach now. Ran Trojan ABC, which was an alliance club. Then switched over to St Pancras, which is now England boxing as well. Had a couple of boys win Capital Cups and a couple other things, which is really good. Also do work with pros. I've got Matteo Occhionero, who's a super bantam out in Italy. Yeah. So he flies over to train with me. I fly over to train with him. And then I've got Jermaine Lueo as well, who's doing pretty well, up and coming featherweight. Some people may know him as Derek Chisora's nephew. So I had a really good stoppage in his last fight. So yeah, everything's going good. Yeah.
That's amazing, man. And how fulfilling is it, just to, being a boxer yourself, but then you've been able to train and seeing their progress? That must be a great sense of fulfillment you get from doing that.
Oh, 100%. Like, especially like having kids in the gym, seeing stuff you work on bear fruit in fights. So like even like little things or like little tweaks in style and that thing. I had a boy who used to sit on the ropes a lot, and I was like, "You've got really good feet. I don't know why you're sitting on the ropes. Like box around and move around." And his last fight for us would have been at one of our dinner shows, and just box circles around this boy. Couldn't get anywhere near him. It was funny as well because he let me pick his entrance music, and he came out to show Michael Sexy Boy. So he came out to show Michael Sexy Boy. Then he put on a wicked show, and it's like, yeah, you're really fulfilled. And then like even the boys, like our last few fights would have been at the Capital Cup. I had two good wins there. One of my old students, I used to work in a school. One of my old students sent me a message, said he wanted to come and box with me. He's come 6 weeks, just worked with him, put him in the Capital Cup, and he won. And another boy who's been in the gym won it as well. And like even just the work we did with them, even stuff you're doing on the day, like just warming them up on the pads and like seeing them then execute and pull it off in a fight and then helping them win. Like it's an amazing feeling.
And would you train all levels? Like someone that might watch this, that might live near you, could you say to them, 100%. Come down to the gym, happy to, coach you if you want to do it?
100%. Feel free to come in, man. We're at St Pancras, it's in Kentish Town. So feel free to come down, open up to everybody. Like we just want to make people the best version of themselves. Not everybody's going to be a champion. Not everybody's going to be a superstar, but I can hope to make you the best version of yourself.
Yeah, that's great to hear, bro. And guys, for those that are watching, please make sure you follow ETG Boxing. I know you're on Twitter and you got on Instagram. You're on Instagram and you're on Twitter as well, right?
Yes. So ETG Boxing, just send me a message.
Well, let's get into it, bro. Usyk Dubois 2. Now, I asked for you to come on because I wanted a technical breakdown from yourself in terms of keys to victory and ultimately who you think will win the second fight. But just briefly recapping the first one. Now, obviously, Usyk won that fight by 9th round stoppage. There was a moment of controversy in that fight at the end of the 5th round or towards the end of the 5th round where Daniel Dubois landed a low blow. In my opinion, it was a low blow. And Usyk went down. Dubois and his team felt that wasn't a low blow, but the punch was ruled as a low blow. And the fight continued on after Usyk had some time out. Usyk knocked Dubois down at the 8th round and in the 9th round where Dubois was eventually counted out. But a lot of controversy from Dubois' team anyway with regards to that low blow punch where they believed that it was legal. Now, Usyk won the fight, for me, fair and square. And we're heading into the rematch where Dubois, to be fair to him, has, shown a great turn of fortune in terms of his last few wins. He's been on a great streak, knocking out Jarrell Miller, blasting out Anthony Joshua and beating out Hrgovic as well. So I forgot his name there for a moment. He's been on a great run, Daniel Dubois. Usyk at the same time, he's still undefeated, beat Fury twice, and, he's still looking good. But yeah, your thoughts on the first fight and that punch? Do you believe it was a low blow?
Yeah, I thought it was a low blow. I think when people think about low blow, they think you have to hit someone square in the nuts, and it's not always the case. It's below like the belt line. And I think if you look at, the best explanation I heard from it was Bernard Hopkins, where he's talking about sometimes you can punch someone in the cup will ride up and do the damage rather than the actual punch itself. It did feel like it was low. It's tough because I looked at the fight, and after the fight, literally all the Dubois team was talking about was that. And I kind of felt if that's what you're focusing on, you're ignoring everything else that happened in that fight. And he was sadly beaten. And I felt like sometimes you give yourself that excuse. And like everyone says, that to be a boxer, you have to be deluded. You have to, like, you'll hear fighters talk about, like, yeah, I thought I was winning that and they've lost every round, or the referee saved him. But it was really you that got saved, you know what I mean? And I think it gave him an excuse. But I think also, as we've seen post that, maybe that fight and him thinking to himself, oh, I stopped him, that should have been a stoppage, is what's kicked him on and made him the fighter that we see now, because his turn of fortune has been insane. Like, a lot of people would have thought that was him done. Like, people said he quit against Joyce. People said he quit in that fight as well. It was a jab that put him down. He didn't get back up. But his turn of fortune, and maybe that's exactly what he needed in order to kick him on. I think Usyk did quite a good job in that first fight. Like I said, I think he won pretty much all of that fight. I think had that low blow not had happened, then there would be no rematch. There would be no reason to have a rematch. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think he soundly beat him for the rest of that fight. He did a really good job of getting the earmuffs on and boxing around him. Like, Usyk likes to box in a semicircle, gets around the side of you, and nobody likes, like, I want what's in front of me. I don't want nothing that's to the side of me, because I now have to say my periphery, I have to turn. And like, Usyk does a really good job of that. And when you do try and get through, then he gets that left hand up and tries to cover up if you try to get through here, or it's the earmuffs on, and he does a really good job of getting around. And I think he did that really well with Dubois. I think when he started planting his feet and trying to land, Dubois did have some success in terms of landing shots, but nothing that made me think, oh, he's in trouble here. But he had a bit more success. And I think Usyk coming up from cruiserweight and doing that, that's probably one of his biggest strengths, is that most people will not face someone that moves as well as he does. And I think he showed it in the fight, floated around him, got around him. When he did start planting his feet, he was hurting Dubois, but also allowed himself to get hit too. I think, it was quite interesting to watch from a technical standpoint in terms of what it was that Usyk was getting off on him. I think Dubois started trying to go to the body. There's this idea that he doesn't like to the body, and Dubois started trying to go to the body. And I think he did have some success with that. You do see kind of like a change in the Usyk's like demeanor when you go to the body. But one of the things that did happen is that when he started going to the body, he left his head exposed, and Usyk was taking advantage of that too. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Dubois approaches the second fight, because if he targets that body, then it leaves him open. But I think with this new belief that he has in himself, he might just go for it.
Yeah. Well, that fight, the first fight took place 2 years ago. And yeah, since then, the fortunes have changed for Dubois. I mean, he's been, like we said earlier, on a very good run. He's been in there with guys where he wasn't the favorite, and he's overcome those odds. I know a lot of people are picking Hrgovic to beat him. There were many people picking AJ to beat him. And he's had quite a good, even Jarrell Miller, there were people picking him to beat Dubois as well. So to be fair to him, man, he's had a great turn of fortune. His confidence seems to be as high as I can ever remember it being. And I think that's great for him going into the rematch against Alexander Usyk, who to me is still the best heavyweight in the world, of course, but he's 2 years older. He's 38 years old. So if you were Dubois' team, if you were part of that camp, what sort of knowledge would you be given to Daniel Dubois for that rematch, knowing what you know from the first fight and going into this one?
I'm telling him to push the pace. Like you said, Usyk's a little bit older. He's had 2 tough fights with Tyson Fury. And one of the things you do notice as well is that in rematches with him, fighters tend to do a little bit better. I think once you've experienced it, like being in with him for the first time must be a huge shock to the system. Like I said, smaller heavyweight, dances around you. Like Joshua looked like he could have got stopped. Had that fight, obviously, if your aunt was your uncle, do you know what I mean? But like, had that fight gone 2 or 3 rounds longer, do you know what I mean? He could have got stopped. He looked absolutely out of it. Tyson Fury could have got stopped in his fight. But in the second fight, Joshua did a little bit better. In the second fight with Fury did a little bit better as well. And like we said, Dubois, like, confidence is through the roof. So there's an idea that he could do a little bit better in this fight as well. My thing is, I'd say with age, with your confidence being where it is, like coming into that fight after knocking out Anthony Joshua, and the knockout it was as well, I'd say put the pressure on, go for it. Like, you're going to walk into shots, but you're a bigger man, solid, heavy puncher. Everybody talks about things, no matter who it is, everybody talks about how hard his jab is and how heavy he lands. You've got to try and put something on him. Try and put something on him early as well. Me personally, I'll touch the body and touch the head. Go down, go up, rather than go up, then go down. So try and touch the body to get the hands down and go to the head. Because if you can put something on him early, it might slow him down. It might make him a little bit tentative. You don't know what you can do. But I think if he goes in and tries to have feel out, and my whole thing is I'm just going to try and focus on the body, kind of playing into his hands. I'm assuming Usyk knows he's going to try and go for the body. Do you know what I mean? So he's going to move his feet, try and get himself out of range, make Dubois reach, make him come over that front foot counter. Whereas if I'm thinking, go to the head, touch him in the head, touch his body, just touch him full stop, hit him on the elbows, hit him on the shoulders, hit him on the neck, hit him where you can, do you know what I mean? But go for it. I think he definitely needs to push that pace, make him feel every bit of his age.
See, now what you've just said to me there kind of reminds me about one of Usyk's first fights into heavyweight, and probably one of his more difficult ones, where he took on Chisora, who didn't respect him. He didn't respect that distance. And I was always kind of like, with Usyk's fights at heavyweight, surprised that a lot of the guys he's in with don't utilize their size more, because he's naturally the smaller guy against all of these heavyweights. But Chisora didn't seem to respect reputations in that fight. Even though he lost it, he went in at him, he was bulldozing him. I'm not saying that that's the style that Fury and AJ have, but you would have thought that they may have used their size and try and impose themselves a bit more. Do you think Dubois should do that and just realize, look, I know I'm going to get hit, but if I can land my shots on him, then this might be the way I need to go?
I think so. I think if Dubois can reconcile with himself that I'm going to get hit, because I think, like in that first fight, when he was getting hit, I think it was in the second round, he got caught with a shot and he looked like he was surprised that Usyk hits as hard as he does. And I think all of them do. Like Tyson Fury spent years calling him middleweight rabbit, and then he got caught with a shot, almost got knocked out.
Yeah.
And like, I think same with Andy Joshua. Andy Joshua probably didn't realize that he hits as hard as he does. But I think once you've been like I said, that second time round, you're kind of used to it. You're used to the movement. You're used to the speed. If he can reconcile with himself, I'm going to have to take one or two to get to him. But once I get to him, I'm going to let my hands go. Then you give yourself a better chance. I think the standing off and allowing him to box at the pace he does and learn to box the way he does, you're setting yourself up for failure. I don't think, because of how good his feet is, you're not just going to be able to bulldoze him. Like a million people, same thing with Floyd, didn't it? I remember listening to Paulie Malignaggi, and he said people used to go in there and try to bulldoze Floyd and then try and stick it on him. And then by round 8 or round 9, they thought, well, I've got him stuck in here with me. And by round 8 or round 9, you're stuck in there with him. He's picking you apart. He's landing these shots and you don't even know what to do. You don't know where they're coming from. He's still fresh. And I think that could very well happen to him. And I think if you do try to stick it on him, you have to make every moment count. And that's what I'm saying. Hit him everywhere. Tire him out. Tie him up. It's what we kind of saw, I think, when we saw Tyson Fury fight him. It was weird because when Tyson Fury fought Ngannou, I felt like Ngannou's MMA background, Tyson Fury tried to be leaning on himself, and Ngannou was like rejecting the clinch and like turning him as well. And everyone's like, I didn't expect him to be able to turn a bigger man. So when Usyk fought him, you saw Usyk kind of replicating some of the stuff that Ngannou was doing to Fury. And like, I think just being bigger than him isn't necessarily enough, but using your size effectively can help him win. I think, like, I lean towards Usyk, 100%. I lean towards Usyk, but Dubois, with his confidence, with his size, with how hard he punches, with the confidence after knocking at AJ, can definitely make this a way more interesting fight than the first fight, 100%. I think he will look back at that, no matter how much he talks about that low blow, he will look back at it and think that wasn't the best version of me. I can do way better. I can give a better account of myself than I did. So I expect him to give a better account of himself too.
What about Alexander Usyk then? Leaning towards Usyk. I'm spoiler alert, I'm leaning towards Usyk too in this fight. But yeah, he is 38 years old now. I would have liked to have seen him, to be honest with you, bro. I would have liked to have seen him retire after the second Fury fight. You know, he's done it all. He's undisputed at cruiserweight, gone up to heavyweight, been undisputed there, decorated amateur career as well, obviously at the Olympics. He's done everything, won everything he needs to win. You're only going to get older. Do you have the same motivation to go in there against these guys? Because you've beaten Usyk, you've beaten the likes of AJ and Fury and so on. You've reached the pinnacle of the heavyweight division. Probably won't have the same amount of earning potential in those fights after that. Maybe a Wilder, but it probably won't bring in that much money compared to what those two fights would have brought in. So you've done everything. You've got all the belts. You've got the acclaim. You've got the fame. But he's still in there at age 38. Could that be an issue for him against a young, hungry guy like Dubois, who seems to be on the up, even though he's fought him already?
I think so. There's wear and tear. Like people, and it's not just the fight; it's the training camps as well. Like putting your body through the ringer just for that 36 minutes. And I think there's a very good chance of that. I think I agree with you. He should have called it a day after the second Fury fight. Fury came out and started saying, "Oh no, he got the decision because of the war in Ukraine and blah blah blah." So he beat him a second time, and he wouldn't give him credit, and he's even angling for a third fight now, which I don't see the reason why we would do that. I think if he wins on Saturday, pardon me, then he should pretty much call it a day. Like I'm not a massive fan of fighters hanging around until they lose. Like there's no need for it, because you're only going to get like a Moses Satama or this person. You're waiting for them to get better and get better and get them until they're good enough to beat. He doesn't need to. Like if he wins on Saturday, call it a day. You've won. Like you've won. You completed the sport. You're the best heavyweight of your era. easily. You beat everybody apart. Let's say bar Wilder, you beat everybody that was put in front of you, and anybody that could have a claim to that, you beat them. So why would you hang around? I think, like you said, age will play a factor. Father Time is the only person that's undefeated in this sport. Do you know what I mean? Eventually, catching up with everybody, and I think, like, even having a second fight with Dubois, like, I get it because of the controversy, because of the low blow, but like I said, he beat him quite handily. Outside of the low blow, he beat him quite handily. I think even doing this again, more so, it's just like even when you see Usyk talking, like you see him talking in interviews, you can see there's a little bit of, he doesn't like Dubois. He doesn't like the fact that he jumps into the ring and tried to spoil his post-fight with Fury and all these little things. And I think, like, you see them show pictures of, what do you think about this fight? Oh, good fight. What do you think about this fight? And when it comes to Dubois, you can see there's a little bit of needle there, and perhaps maybe to satisfy something personally for him. But if he wins on Saturday, call it a day. There's no like, you've got nothing else to prove.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think, if anything, some of Dubois' antics leading up to this second fight has only motivated Usyk. I mean, if I was Dubois, I'd be thinking like, oh, let me just be placid and let me just, just let me show him what I'm about once I get in that ring. But I think, if anything, the shouting in the face and, all this low blow stuff.
Remember the push? All of that stuff.
Push.
It's crazy. So I think of, do you remember Derek Chisora and Otto Wallin, where he was like super placid with him? Yeah, Otto Wallin, I like it. Then, like, the final press, he puts him in the headlock and he pulls him down. And apparently, like, Wallin was proper rattled by it. That's probably the route I would have gone. Like, even with Dubois, because we know his character and his nature, it kind of seems forced. It kind of seems like, go out there and stick it on him and let him know you're not the same person. So he's shouting in his face, but he doesn't carry it off well enough. So Usyk's just looking at him like, what's this guy doing, kind of thing. And I think also, like we said, there is a bit of that needle there already. So he's probably giving him motivation. Like, if I was him, I would have kept him, like, guessing. How's he going to show up? What's he going to do? Then that last press off, stick it on. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Well, let's so we're both going the same way, right? We're both picking Usyk. So let me just close out this video with this then. If I say, how do you think Usyk will win? And after that, should Usyk listen to what we, obviously not going to listen to us, but if he does go ahead and retire, who would you look at as the future of the heavyweight division with him gone then? So if I can get your prediction, your actual prediction first, and then, maybe look at the future of the heavyweight division.
So I think Dubois got a bit more grit about him, so he doesn't get stopped this time, but I think he loses the decision. He probably gives a good account of himself. It's either a close, unanimous decision or possibly majority. Someone might call it a draw or whatever, but I think Usyk beats him. And I think, looking to the future, like, I can't look past most of the time. Like, unbelievable for his age. Wicked fighter. Like, it's crazy. He's never lost a fight. Like, he's amateur or professional. He's never lost a fight. Like, he doesn't know what it feels like to lose.
I didn't know he hadn't lost an amateur fight before.
He's never lost a fight. Full stop. Here, he's never lost a fight. Full stop. That's crazy. And people look to, like, oh well, who's he fought? But, like, I think he won like the Junior Olympics as an amateur. Like, he's never lost a fight. I look at him and I think this is someone that's definitely for the future. I think he's knockout of Balogun, just like everything about him, like, super cool, not runs his mouth and all that stuff. He just does all his talking in the ring. Like, I'm proper impressed by most of the time, and I think he's just getting better and getting better. I think if you're like, I like Dylan White, but I think he's got a big fight on his hands come Riyadh season. I think he just beats everyone. Like, the way he's looking, he's getting better, and I think people, if you're going to beat him now, because once he gets to like 24, 25, good luck.
I was just about to say that. Would you put him in? Would you put him in with those guys now? Would you be confident putting him in with anyone now? Would you like to see him develop further first before you do?
I think he needs like a step up a fight just because he needs to go the rounds. He hasn't really done the rounds, but I would like putting him against White, putting him against Chisoras, putting him against people like that. I wouldn't feel like, oh my God, he's in a bit of danger. I think like, oh, I think he's going to do a number here. And it doesn't necessarily mean he knocks them out, but I think he can go with them. Like, this guy was sparring like world level opposition when he was 16. They were talking about him coming in his school uniform. Like, what? I think back to what I was doing in my school when I was in school. I was like, I was an idiot. And this guy's here sparring world level opposition. So, like, I think the world's at his feet. Like, it's genuinely how he wants it to go. He could, like, obviously he missed out on that Mike Tyson record, but I think that was always ambitious. I think he now, with that off his back as well, he can rule this division, man, 100%.
Absolutely. Yeah, and just for the record, guys, I'm going to I have to agree with ETG as well. I can see this going points this time round. Usyk winning it on points. I think Dubois will put in a good effort. I think he's on a great run at the moment. I think that he will be motivated, obviously being at Wembley. I think he'll do, he will push Usyk a bit harder, I think, in this fight, because I think the first fight was quite comprehensive with or without the low blow. I think Usyk was a comprehensive winner. So going into the second fight, I think Dubois will do better, but ultimately I've got Usyk winning this on points as well, like a 116, 112, something like that maybe. And have to agree with you as well about the future of the heavyweight division. I think that Moses Atama is definitely one to watch and one that will most certainly be a future world champion. So yeah, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. But I'd like to thank ETG Boxing for coming on, man. It's been great talking to you as always. Just gathering knowledge from your breakdowns and just you as a whole, man. Just great to have you on the channel, and hopefully we could have you on for some more fights coming up.
100%, man. Thank you for having me. I'm really enjoyed doing this. So yeah, hopefully I'll see you again soon.
Thanks, people. Yeah, don't forget to follow ETG Boxing on Twitter or Instagram. I'll put the link in the description below, and we'll see you guys on the next video.
Take care. Thank you.